Jainism, everyone, welcoming you all to this new lecture series called Teen Lok or the Three Worlds. Again, this lecture series is divided amongst two different lectures. Lecture one, which we will be having today, and the conclusion lecture, which we will be having in the coming week. Uh, Again, we have invited Somil Bhaiya. You all must be aware about his teachings in the earlier lecture series, Five Supreme Beings, Panch Parmeshti. And Bhaiya has explained it very nicely in a very beautiful pattern about the Swarup of Panch Parmeshti in the previous lecture series. Today he'll be taking Teen Lok, three worlds. Before I hand over the mic to him, I wanted to quickly draw your attention towards the GIF portal. We will discuss about this, the accessible points after the lecture as well. I just wanted to request you all to kindly subscribe to GIF portal through YouTube channel. It would be easier for you to access and get regular updates on whatsoever the lectures are going to happen in the future, and whatever recordings are being uploaded, you can easily pop up the notification and check it. So when it comes to Teen Lok, it feels quite interesting to learn about Teen Lok when we talk about the geography lectures in our history textbooks, also in our science textbooks about how the world is. Is it all about the Earth or the solar system, or is it more than that? Though our Jain philosophy talks in a very different manner, and because of that, we have complete science beyond it, and that only we will be having today. Somil Bhaiya, over to you.
Thank you, Harshil Bhai. Welcome to Jeev Academy class. Let's start with Mangalacharan. Namo Arihantanam, Namo Siddhanam, Namo Ayariyanam, Namo Uvajayanam, Namo Loe Savasahunam. Mangalam Bhagavan Viro, Mangalam Gautamo Gani, Mangalam Kunda Kundaryo, Jaina Dharmostu Mangalam. Hello everyone. Today we are gathered here to study about Teen Lok. Teen Lok, or the universe that we reside in, is a unique and very puzzling topic, because as and when any life is born in any of the four type of gatis, the first question that always arises is, who am I and where am I? What is my existence? Where did I come from? And where am I going? Is it like I will be here forever, or this is a transient stop in my journey? And what is the reason I'm here? There are several of these questions that we ponder, and especially in our human life, we look at these vast galaxies in the sky, and we study science when in our human life, and there are so many theories that hit us. You may know that the science says that this universe was initially an infinitesimally small point, or an object, and suddenly there was this big bang, which exploded this infinitesimal mass into a big giant cloud, which keeps on expanding, and from this cloud were formed many different millions of galaxies, and we are in one such galaxy. Our sun is a small star in this big galaxy, and the planet system around this sun is where we reside. And there are always questions whether there are similar galaxies or similar Earths in the other part of the realm. This is what science thinks. But the religions are not far behind either. They have their own philosophies. Some people say that this Earth, as we see it, the spherical ball, or as The Earth, as science postulates it, the spherical ball, is on the back of a tortoise, or it is on the head of a serpent, or it is held by some divine god. And there are so many of these philosophies. Most of these philosophies either embody a supernatural, a godly entity who has created this world and who is holding it, or he is maintaining it. And there's also some kind of supernatural phenomenon who could destroy it. Whereas the science also believes in some kind of beginning to this universe, which also means there could be some end to this universe, which they are not able to explain today. In contrast to all of this, what we in Jainism believe is that the universe is eternal. The universe, so what is the universe that we believe in? We believe that the universe is made of six substances which are spread in infinite space. So the space could be colloquially divided into two areas. One is called Alokakash, as you see here outside, which is a section of space that has only space and nothing else. And then there is a section which is called Lokakash, which occupies six different type of substances. This definition of universe is not dependent on any god or any supernatural entity who has created this, because we believe that this kind of arrangement of universe has existed since ever. It is not held on any super animal or super being, not held by God or maintained by God, because it is a self-sustained system. Each of the six substances, they are self-propagating. They uh, exist in their own substance properties uh, and transformations. So they all constantly change, but yet they are a constant entity. Each of these six substances are eternal, and they will never be created nor be destroyed. So the universe that we believe in is an entity which is eternal. It has never started, it will never end. It was not created by anybody, and it doesn't need anybody to maintain it. So who am I then? The same question comes again. I am one of the entity in this universe that resides in this space called Lokakash. Let's dive into that. So the occupied universe, or Lokakash, consists of six different substances. The shape of the universe, or shape of Lokakash, is like a person or a man standing with his hands on his waist. Or you can also correlate it with 1.5 shape of a mrudang. Mrudang is a musical instrument which is of this diamond shape. And you can see the upper part is diamond shape, the lower part is more of half of that. This Lokakash consists of six different substances, and I am one of those substances. So where am I? I am part of this big universe. I am also a substance in this universe, which is eternal. The universe is eternal, and so am I. I am also eternal. Who am I among these? The six substances are called living beings or jeev, matter or pudgal, medium of motion or dharmastikai, medium of rest or adharmastikai, space or akash, and time or kal. Uh, the definition of these six will be dealt in another class. Today we are going to focus on who am I and where do I reside. So I am Jeev, or a living being. The body that we see is not me. That is not who me is. I am a Jeev, or a living being, who is constantly going into different type of life forms in this universe. And in any particular life form, the jeev, or the living being, is associated with some kind of a bodily shape or bodily material. And this material is made of matter or pudgal. So the body that we see is actually made of pudgal or matter. And the real me is the living entity or the energy that is able to know and perceive. It's able to feel the happiness or sadness or sorrow. That is Jeev, and that's me. In this universe, there are infinite Jeev like me, and they all have been there since eternity because none of the substance can be created or can be destroyed. So the universe is made of these six substances, including me, and the purpose of me is to break this cycle of constant movement into four type of life forms and to achieve the eternal bliss by achieving the godhood or omniscience and passionlessness. So to become Bhagwan or to become God is the purpose for me to transition from the four type of life forms into eternal bliss. All right. So with that as the background, let's dive deeper into what is universe. All right. So the universe or the Lokakash that as we see it is classified into three type of worlds: upper world, middle world, and lower world. Let's see that in the diagram of universe. So we saw that the universe is something like a standing man with his hands on his waist. The upper part, which is this diamond shape, is called the upper world. The lower part, which is this trapezium shape, is called lower world. And in between, the waist area, which is a flat line type area, that is called middle world or Madhyalok. Upper world is where the celestial beings reside. And at the very top of the universe is where Siddha Shila resides, or which is where the Siddha Bhagwan, the Jeev or the living beings who have achieved eternal bliss, they reside there. Madhyalok is where we humans, the subhumans or Tiryans or animals, and some celestial beings reside. So the Vyantars and Jyotishi they reside in the middle world or Madhyalok. And Adolok is the lower part of the universe where all the hellish beings reside. And there are also some celestial beings like Bhavanvasi Dev. They reside in the Adolok. And just to close on the universe which is non-occupied, so the outside universe, beyond this, there is infinite space in all 10 directions. And that is called non-occupied universe or Alokakash. And in the Alokakash, there is only Akash. It is an infinite vast of empty space. It doesn't have the rest of the five substances which are soul, matter, time, motion, and the medium of rest. It has only infinite space. All right. So with that said, in today's class, we are going to dive deeper into the upper world and the lower world. And the second class that we have in another week's time, that's where we will dive into the middle world, and we will also talk about the Siddha Shila or the place where gods reside. Let's jump into the upper world to begin with. I'm going to change my slides. 1 second. Okay. Okay, so the upper world or Urdhvalok. So we have four different type of life forms, right? And all of us who are in the human leaf form, we believe that if we do good deeds, which is if we do punya bhav, then we will accumulate good karma. And as a result of this good karma, we will become a celestial being or we will become Dev and we will get to go in the upper world. The upper world is a place where you are blessed with a lot of different material pleasures. You will get a body which will never age. It will never have any kind of diseases. You don't get hungry. You only feel like a hunger every um, few days, or every few years even. And you don't have to drink, you don't have to eat, you don't have to earn money. uh, all you can do is you can enjoy the material pleasure. Isn't that fantastic? Isn't that great? Isn't that the real happiness that we are looking for? Because in our humanly life, we are always, if you see the rat race, we are always in the look for pleasures. We are looking for a bigger car, we are looking for a bigger house, we are looking for better clothes, better food to eat, you're looking for better material pleasures. But that's not the real happiness. And the upper world or celestial beings is an ideal example to prove that this material pleasure, no matter how much you have it, you will never be happy. Those material pleasures are always transient, they're only temporary. That too, any one particular material pleasure doesn't satisfy you. Any humans or any soul for that matter constantly seeks for the happiness, but they never find it in any object outside, so they keep changing it. And the same for celestial beings as well. They sometimes hear nice music, or they go to different places, to some forest, to some lake, to enjoy those natural pleasures, or they would want to have some nice fragrances, they would want to see some nice dances, etc. They are constantly in that expectation, or the desire to find happiness somewhere, and they have access to all of these material things, but even then they are not happy. So we are trying to understand where do they reside, for the sole purpose that, see, even though they reside there and they have all of these happinesses, the benefit of learning this is that they are also just like us. They are nothing special. They don't have any special powers, or they are not super happy compared to us. In fact, humans who have taken sanyam, who become monk, could be happier than the celestial being. Excuse me. So let's dive deeper into where do they stay. The upper world, or Urdhvalok, is where the Dev stay. There are 16 type of Swarg, or upper world, where the celestial being called Vaimanik Dev, or empirical celestial beings reside. These 16 loks are named here. They are called Saudharma Swarg. So you can see the numbers and their names respectively. So Saudharma is here. This is on the south side, and Ishan, which is at the same level but on the north side. Then the third and fourth are one level above. So third Swarg is called Sanat Kumar on south side, Mahendra on north side. Then Brahma Brahmottar, Lantav Kapisht, Shukra Mahashukra, Shatar Sahastrar, Anat Pranat, Aran Achyut, right? In this order. Not only that, beyond them is 9 Graivek. Also, these 9 can be classified into 3: the lower Graivek, the middle Graivek, and the upper Graivek. So all 3 each. Then there is 9 Anudish, and finally 5 Anuttar. All of these are heavenly chariots, where we saw that there are these empirical celestial beings who reside. And as you go higher in these Swarg, they come as a result of more and more punya parinam. So you will find more and more material pleasures in the higher and higher Swarg. So does that mean that if you're in the highest Swarg, let's say 16th, then you're the happiest Dev? And that's exactly not true, because you may have more material things around you, but then that Dev could still be mithya drashti, or may not have the right belief, and he or she might still seek pleasure in external things and still would be unhappy. Whereas you could have a Dev in the lowest Swarg who may have the right belief or Samyak Darshan, and that Dev would find the right happiness within and would still be happy. All right. So as you go up, higher up, beyond 9 Anudish, so 9 Anudish and 5 Anuttar, only these two are heavenly levels, such that the chariots, the jeev that go in those chariots, they necessarily have the right belief. And all of those souls or jeeves in their next birth or within two births, they will definitely attain liberation and they will attain the passionlessness and omniscience. These heavenly beings are, uh, uh, as I said earlier, they reach there as a result of immense Shubh Bhav or Punya Parinam, and they reach to that level. However, during their entire life, they have been trying to find happiness in external things, or they try to enjoy or try to find a pleasure and constantly remain engrossed in these material pleasures. So, as a result, throughout their lives, they may get some punya parinam or they may also get some pap parinam. So they may do some good deeds or they may even do bad deeds. So as a result, those they maybe who have the right belief and they have done good deeds, they will attain human life. However, those celestial beings, maybe who don't have the right belief, and maybe they have done the worst type of parinam. In that case, up to 16th Swarg, up to 16th this Achyut Swarg, they may even go from here directly into one sensed subhuman Tiryansh Gati. So they may directly go to Ekendriya Gati. So it is so interesting that in you may be at the highest point in your punya bhav and get the best material things, but even in that you can do bad deeds or pap and go directly to the bottom of the pyramid. Okay, some additional details. As we are talking about celestial beings, there are four type of celestial beings. One who are called empirical celestial beings, and they live in these heavenly chariots or Vaimanik Dev, and this is where they live. Then there are also other type of celestial beings who live either in Madhyalok or in the Adolok. So those celestial beings who live in Madhyalok are Vyantar Dev or Jyotishi Dev. Okay, and those who live in the Adolok, they are the mentioned dwellers or Bhavanvasi Dev. So let's talk about Adolok now. I think the Urdhvalok is clear. We will go into Adolok. Adolok or the lower world. As you can see, in this universe, there are places where you you can enjoy the fruits of your good deeds, like the heavenly celestial beings, as we just saw. And there are also places where you would get the penance for your bad deeds, and that is called adholo. Again, correlating it to the scientific theories that we saw earlier, the science doesn't believe in anything other than humans and subhumans or Tyrians. They don't believe in heaven or hell. However, there must be places where if you've done good deeds and you're not seeing the fruition of that in this life, then it must be getting some, and you must be getting that somewhere. Similarly, if you have done bad deeds and you're not getting the fruition of that in this life, there must be a place where you get the fruits in your next life, and which is this Adolok or the lower world. Adolok has seven different layers, or they are also called as seven earths. These seven, out of these seven, the first level has three layers. And in those three layers, in the top layers is where the mentioned dweller celestial beings live, the top two layers. The lowest level in the first level, the lowest layer in the first level, and the rest of the 6 layers is where the hellish beings live. These hellish beings, they live not on the surface of these uh, earths as we live here. So we humans live on the surface of an earth, right? However, the hellish being lives somewhere inside the inside these levels, and these are something like uh, pits, or they are like an air bubble within the earth, uh, which is where they live. Okay, so they are something like, you can imagine that in a muddy soil, you may have seen a rat creating a hole in the ground, and it stays inside that hole, inside that air bubble in a way. Similarly, in within these 7 earths or 7 layers, the hellish being live within those layers in empty spaces, or in sort of a bubble, and uh, and and that's where they take birth, that's where they die. They cannot cross from one of these holes to another. They can never come out of these space. But this one space of one air bubble is also huge space. It is maybe some lakhs of kilometers or maybe even more. But they take birth in that and they die in that. And within that, the environment is not very pleasant. They are under extreme cold or extreme hot. So, for example, in the first 5 levels, there are extreme heat, and in the lower levels, some portion of fifth and sixth and seventh is extreme cold. They are also very dirty smell. The land is also very harsh, very sharp. So the hellish being, with, as you can see, they find pain or misery in almost everything. In the touch, in smell, it's a very dirty smell in those places. In the temperature or heat, even in the sound, there is always some kind of a crying hue and cry sound. So it's a very unpleasant place where souls will constantly get punishments or penance for the bad deeds that they have done in their previous lives. There are 7 such layers, and they are named as per the hue or the aura that they have in those levels. I will read those names. The first one is called Ratna Prabha. So it is like a gem hued. As I said, the first level is made of 3 layers. And in fact, the top layers are actually made of gems. So the whole first level is called Ratna Prabha. Second one is called Sharkara Prabha, or pebble hued. So this level is made something like with pebbles. Third one is Baluka Prabha, or sand hued. It is made of sand. Fourth one is called Panka Prabha. Punk is mud. So fourth level is made with mud. Fifth level is Dhoom Prabha, or smoke hued. So this level is made with something like smoke. Sixth one is called Tam Prabha, or dark. And seventh, Mahatam Prabha, pitch dark. So in sixth and seventh levels, these levels are completely dark or even darker. And this is where the souls, when they take birth, they uh, uh, they go through sufferings through their entire life. It is so interesting that in these hellish beings, or even in the heavenly beings that we saw earlier, in both of these life forms, until the ayu, or the designated time of that soul is over, they would not die. So even within the hellish beings, they are constantly fighting with each other, and they are taking revenge of any ill deeds that they would have done with each other in their previous lives, they would take a revenge in the lower world. So let's say I and somebody had a revenge. In the lower world, I would take uh, a revenge for that. And you can cut a person's body into small pieces, or you can put them in a molten lava, or you can pierce them with a sword, or you can even torture that person with many other ways. But until the designated lifespan, the person would not die, or the hellish being don't die. So throughout their life, they constantly go through pains and sorrow of all the bad deeds they have done in their previous lives. So what it teaches us? What it teaches us is there are four type of these life forms, and all of these four type of life forms are places where souls would get the fruits of their good or bad deeds. If a soul has done good deeds or very good deeds, they would become celestial being, and they would get all nice material things around them, which we call it as a material pleasure. If the soul has done bad deeds, then they would get a life form in the lower world, like a hellish being, and they would be constantly surrounded with very harsh and very painful type of material things. And also the souls or other living beings there are always of the nature of fighting and causing different troubles. So there are places where one definitely gets the fruition of their good and bad deeds. These upper and the lower world teaches us that this universe is not a place where we would find a pleasure with material things outside. No matter how much these material things you have in the upper world, or no matter how devoid of it you are in the lower world. But in both of these places, a soul with the right knowledge and with the right efforts can get the right belief of his own true self. And when the soul does that, when the soul gets the true belief of one's own self, the soul gets engrossed within himself. And that engrossment with the right belief and the right knowledge, or it is the magic trio, which is called Samyak Darshan, Samyak Gyan, and Samyak Charitra. With this magic trio or Ratna Tray, the soul can get the true happiness or Sacha Sukh in any of parts of this universe. So, in this entire universe, the four type of life forms are existing. Many of them or most of them don't have the right belief, and they are going through constant cycles of birth and death, and they are constantly feeling the unhappiness or sadness. However, the soul with the right knowledge, with right belief and the right conduct, right engrossment, can get the right happiness throughout the universe. So the what we are learning or what we get the key insights from learning the Urdhva and the Adolok, or the upper world and the lower world, is it is not the material pleasures that one should run after. It is not the good deeds or bad deeds that one should run after. In this human life, which is the most precious type of life form that we have gotten out of four, what we should run after or what we should strive for or desire for is the magic trio, or the right belief, right knowledge, right conduct. With this right belief, with the samyaktva, it opens the door to becoming a god oneself. There is a place for all type of life forms in this universe. The universe, as we believe in Jainism, is not what others believe in the other philosophies, because here there is a space for everybody, including the godly beings. They also reside in a particular place, and those who are in their lowest form of life form, in Nigod, there is also a place for them. Uh, so the universe as we see it is a place which hosts or which holds six type of substances, and I am one of such substance who is indestructible, who is eternal. By knowing this eternal self, by knowing my true nature, which is I am indestructible, I am just going through these four life forms, but that four life forms is not my true nature. The true nature is my infinite qualities with this indestructible nature, with this eternal nature, which is called Drashtika Vishay, which is basically this one undivisible, infinite quality substance is what is real me. And that real me, once I get engrossed into it, that is the thing that brings me the true happiness. So, trying to chase this true happiness by knowing the nature of the universe, trying to arrive at the true happiness or the true nature of soul, by knowing the nature of universe is the real benefit to know the universe. The the purpose of knowing the universe is not to know the geography or the location or which type of life forms exist where and how long they are going to stay. All of that is just information. Information is always there, but the true essence of knowing the three world or universe is to know my real nature, and by knowing my real nature to get the right belief and the right happiness, which is the path to salvation, is the real purpose of knowing this three world. I will stop here and let us take a few questions if you have any.
So maybe you can unshare the screen.
Yes.
First of all, thank you so much for this beautiful information and taking this information to a proper conclusion that what is the purpose of learning Teen Lok, what is the purpose of understanding this raw material or the raw data which we have got from our Shastra scriptures and obviously the Divya Deshna. So yeah, now we would take few questions from the audience. If you have any questions, please feel free to ask about the topic. Anyone? You can raise your hand or you can directly unmute yourself and ask the question. Okay. So if you have anything, feel free to ask. Else, I have some points where Somil Bhaiya can just throw some light and we can have a discussion for like 5, 7 more minutes since we have.
Hmm.
So, Bhaiya, we have talked about a lot of differences about Teen Lok. When we talk about Urdu Lok, you have discussed about the pleasures of living there and what are the anukulta we have there. When we talk about the hell or the Adholok, we have seen all the prithvis, whatever the uh, uh, dukh which we talk about, sheet, ushna, bhuk, vedana, and everything. So we have talked about a lot of differences. Since we know this, everything is a sansar chakra, and the ultimate goal we have is a slightly different from all this. So can you spot few differences so that we can put all the gatis, all the thing in one single basket and segregate it from Siddhishala or the moksha?
Sure. So I would like to start from again science and several other philosophies versus what Jainism says. In science, we speak about the most debated topic, which is whether the Earth is flat or whether it is spherical, whether Earth is going around the sun or sun is going around the Earth, and what are these different galaxies or different stars, and where do they reside versus where do we reside, and all of these, we will try to address some of these questions in the next class when we talk about the middle world or Madhyalok. But if you look at all the three worlds, the upper world, the middle world, and the lower world, uh, the difference is what kind of external material pleasures they get. So, for example, in the upper world, we saw the celestial bodies. These celestial beings, they have all kind of material pleasures with them, which means throughout their life, and their lives are very, very long. The even some of the numbers or the countings that we do in Jain mathematics is just beyond imagination. It is mind-boggling type of calculations that we go through, and the celestial beings or the hellish beings, they both could have an immensely long age. We are talking about 100 years for humans. Maybe animals like dogs could have 10, 20 years. However, for celestial beings, the minimum age starts at 10,000 years, and the maximum could be, it is it is uninnumerable, it is uncountable in numbers. It is as high, as big a number as that. Similarly, in the hellish being, the minimum is 10,000 years, but the highest number is beyond imagination. And if you want to know some of these numbers or some math, you should study a shastra called Triloksar. It is really you will forget all the math that you've studied so far, because this is so mind-boggling. Now, what kind of differences exist in these life forms? The hellish being, the body is constantly ill with so many different diseases. However, the heavenly being, they have no diseases in their body. So the internal bodily pains are not there for them at all. However, for hellish being, they are constantly suffering through inconveniences and pains from even the inside. Outside is on top of that. In the heavenly being, there is no extreme heat or cold. The weather is, perfect blue skies and very beautiful, nice weather. Uh, it's always very pleasant. In the hellish being, we saw some extreme temperatures. We talk about temperatures which will melt a molten, which will melt a metal big ball into a lava. That kind of extreme harsh heat, or even it will disintegrate into atoms and molecules, that kind of extreme cold. In the heavenly beings, uh, they have pleasures of nice dances or music or nice, so they can go to different forests, or they can go to some nice water bodies, and they can constantly enjoy those kind of pleasures. They have a plane which flies with some divine powers. They don't need any fuel like we do on earth, and they can go from one place to the other, and they can constantly enjoy those nice exquisities that they have. The hellish beings, they have no such luxuries. They are constantly wandering. They have no societal structure. They are constantly wandering, but yet always conflicting with other hellish beings and constantly fighting with each other, and in the process maybe even end up harming each other, and yet they are not satisfied, so they keep on getting engaged in that. So there are so many differences, that for example, the hellish being, they are always hungry, they're always thirsty, and they don't get any food, nor do they get any water. They eat the soil from that hell, and that soil is so bad that even a small particle of that, if you bring to this earth, maybe half of earth humans will die. It is that bad, but even then they have no choice but to eat that. Whereas in the heavens, they are never hungry. I mean, they get hungry only after so many years, and even then, they have some amrit, which just seeps off their throat, and they don't have to eat anything. So there are these kind of many differences, which actually make these life forms so different. But you can notice that in all of these differences are all related to external materials around them, whether it is their body or whether it is other substances around them, whether it is weather or other things. The soul itself, it's neither happy in heaven nor happy in hell unless the souls identify itself and gets the internal peace or the internal bliss. That is the real happiness.
Perfect. Totally satisfied with your answer. Thank you, Bhaiya. We have questions from audience. Siddhant Dedia, you can ask.
Uh, yes. Is hell better or heaven?
But as I said, none of them is better because in both, the soul is always unhappy. You
No, but as means for your, if you go in hell, it is a niyam that you come out as a Anushya or a Dev, and in Dev it's not sure, or and in Dev you can even become one sensed
Yes.
organ, means that Jeev.
I will clarify that, Siddhant, you're very right. When you're a hellish being, your next birth is always a five sensed a being who has mind to think. So Sangni Panchendriya birth, always. Whereas when
Yes,
you're in heaven, your next birth could be either Ekendriya or one sensed, or it could be five sensed. It could be any of them, right? So one could argue that why is hell heaven better? Because you can go to one sensed, whereas from hell you can never go to one sensed. But see, beta, as I said, none of them is better.
yeah,
Yes, there could be heavenly beings throughout their life who conduct so many bad deeds and they accumulate so many
yes,
bad karma that they can go to one sensed being. But
as
then,
we enter Dev.
yes, or you can also get the right knowledge and right belief and become a human, and in next life you can go to Siddhashila. Or
Yes,
vice versa, you can be in hell and you can get so many bad deeds. So even though you are five sense being, but you can be a very cruel lion and no benefit, right? You can still be
yes,
cruel and accumulate bad karma. Or
okay,
even in hell, you can get the right belief and get human. Next life, you can go to Siddhashila. So both are equal from that
ego,
perspective. No
yes,
one is good, no one's bad. What is good or bad is you have to get the right belief. That is good.
understood.
Thank you for the smart question, Siddhant. Any further questions? Okay, but I have one more doubt, one more question. In the definition of Sarvagya Bhagwan, we have learned in Laghujan Siddhant Praveshika that जो तीन लोक की तीन कालों की समस्त वस्तुओं को एक समय में एक साथ जाने. So
Hmm.
why don't we include Alokakash in this? Because that also has Prameyatva Gun, which has the capacity to be known by
Yeah.
Sarvagya Bhagwan. So is it Antadeepak in that definition, or we just don't include it?
No, no. See, the definition of Sarvagya or omniscient is the one who has the ability to know all three time scales, so past, present, and future, and all three lok or urdhva lok or upper world, middle world, and lower world. Now, this all three lok, upper, middle, or lower, is just a conventional way of explaining because it has all six substances. But remember, one of those six is also space, and space is not limited to only that. Space is
Infinite.
infinite, infinite vast. And there are no two spaces. There is no space within the occupied universe, and there is a second space which is outside occupied
Right.
universe. No, there's only one space which is just spreading throughout. So when you count the space, it automatically considers everything. So yes, omniscient also has the ability to know inside and outside, so occupied and unoccupied universe.
Okay. Got the answer. So I think we are done with the session for today. Let me share my screen and show you the accessible points. Yeah. So we have summarized the entire process or how you can access these lectures, how you can access the website, the portal in these 4 points, which are reflected on your screen. You can visit the Jeep website. Under the website, you will find a resources tab. When you click on the resources, you will find all the topics. When you click on the topic, you will receive a link to access the course. Let's say Teen Lok. Once you'll click on the Teen Lok section, you will get the access to Somil Bhaiya's 2 lectures. We have only just completed one. And then you will get the presentation, the resources, which is Gurudev Shri's lecture snippets and everything. And all the resources are there. Number 3, you can view your course on your dashboard. And number 4, select the course you wish to enroll and you can access to all the quizzes or all the updates. Also, once we finish the lecture, we upload it on YouTube on the next day. And to get regular updates that what is uploaded on YouTube, you can just subscribe to GIF portal and get regular updates. That's all for today. We will meet in the coming week. Bhaiya Jinwani Stuti.
Yes, we will end with a small prayer. Please fold your hands. निज निधि निज में बताई यह अनंत उपकार है, इसके लिए जिन वाणी माँ को वंदना शत बार है, वंदना शत बार है। बोलो द्वादशांगी जिनवाणी मात की जय।
9 times Ramapanda.